Okay, our speaker is coming from ZKEX. I believe his name is Balal. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. All right, have you passed them your slides as well? Okay, let me just check it for you. There is a clicker over here. Let me just get these slides set up. I should have it. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, just click the clicker and then let me know if it works. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of applause for our next speaker, Mr. Balal from ZKEX. We'll be sharing about decentralized trading. Enjoy. Press the button. This little button there. Or do you want to take it out? You can hold it, yeah. Second. Press it and see. Yeah, just hold it nearer to your mouth. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. The Starbucks is closed. I came in this morning. I was like, I need a coffee. And there's no coffee. So I'm not myself at the moment. Not kind of half zombie at the moment. Anyways, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Thank you to the organizers. And my name is Balal. Your pronunciation was perfect, by the way. I'm one of the co-founders of ZKEX. We're essentially based in Asia, but I'm actually from the UK. So thank you all for coming here as well. I want to actually say congratulations for choosing to come to ETHKL. There's some straight up OGs. These guys are really experienced and speaking from a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. And what I really like here is there's a lot of young people here as well who are, I think, students and new to the space, which is amazing to see. And I really hope that more Malaysians continue to innovate and bring more outstanding projects into the space. So who knows, like maybe Malaysia could be another hub for crypto in Asia. I think it has the potential. So do you know why I love to come to these kinds of events as opposed to the commercial ones? The reason is that the emphasis that is on these conferences is mostly on decentralization. And as opposed to the very commercial blockchain events that happen around the world, what we see there is that those are actually dominated by CeFi projects, like the big CEX exchanges. And when I walk around those conferences, I think, what are you guys doing here? Because actually, the entire point of blockchain is to be permissionless, trustless, and decentralized. But what those CeFi projects have done is actually have done the exact opposite of what we are trying to do, which is they've made the technology permissioned, trusted, and centralized. And that's kind of weird, right? But actually, why is that? You have to think very carefully, why is that situation? And to be honest, I blame us, like developers, because what has actually happened over the last 5 years is that we, the builders, have hyped up our technology so much, but it wasn't actually delivering the real use case or the real problem, the solution to the problem. And so it wasn't ready for the big time, but it went popular suddenly, and we've had so many disasters in the meantime. So what we actually built in the last 5 years generally was slow, unreliable, hard to use, and very expensive. Like the guy just mentioned, he was like playing around and he spent 414 ETH just on gas fees. That's ridiculous. And so what has actually happened is that because of our hype that we generated, everyone, retail people, even a couple of years ago, they followed the hype and they wanted to do something. And so they had to find a shortcut to get it done. No one's going to spend 414 ETH on gas fees. So what's the other way? Use a CEX, right? To use a centralized protocol. And unfortunately, the result was things like FTX and Celsius and 1,000 other scammy DeFi projects of rug pullers and all this. People just like their projects died or they got rugged or whatever. So the result now is when you tell your friends and family that you work in, say, crypto or Web3, they probably think you're crazy. And my mom thinks I'm a scammer. And she may have thought that already, even before I got into crypto, who knows. But actually, the intention is actually that we, the real people who are here, still in the bear market, when it's horrible, like horrible time. But actually, we are here to fix things, which is cool. And we want to repair our industry's image with real innovation, with radical innovation, to the point that we actually build real products and products that solve real problems, which is actually, people don't really think about this. They always create problems and they create solutions in our industry. They don't actually look at existing problems in real life. So we want to create protocols that change the game, that sweep the legs out of these centralized projects, completely destroy them. So I'm here to basically share our story of how we're trying to reinvent decentralized trading. And every DEX has its place, by the way. I don't think of these guys as competition. We all have our space. We all have our different users. But before I come to that, I want to share a few concerns that I have about our industry. So take everything I say in the next 10 minutes with a pinch of salt. I might be talking complete nonsense. Do your own research. Don't believe me at all, because everyone in crypto is always selling something. They're shilling something, right? And they're always telling a story. And more often than not, that story is wrong, because the projects which were really popular, say 5 years ago, are not popular anymore. So those guys telling stories 5 years ago were actually wrong. It doesn't mean they're a scammer, but it's just that they were kind of building up hype for their own project, and this idea of building a hype is actually part of crypto trading as well. So often you've heard the idea that there's a narrative around crypto trading. It means that some people came up with some crazy wild idea with their friends and like, yo, let's do this. And it created everyone got excited about this thing, and everyone's following, and it go viral, and everyone started buying it suddenly. And most recently, for example, just a few months ago, there was meme coins. Like, why the hell would you buy a meme coin? Did anyone buy Pepe, by the way? No one bought Pepe? No, some of you must have done. You're lying. You're afraid of it. You're ashamed of it, right? Exactly. So like people like hyped in, right? Yo, Pepe, just buy it. Why? I don't know. Like, just buy it. And right now it's Friends Tech. Are you guys on Friends Tech, by the way? I just mentioned just now on stage. You're all liars. You're all. I know you're all degens, all of you. Degens never reveal their real what they're doing, right? Anyways, who knows what's coming next? Nobody really knows. Just watch out for the next narrative and jump in, maybe jump out. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do. But here's my 3 radical predictions for 2024. Okay, first off, there's no bull run. And anyone who tells you this is a bullshitter. And I honestly think if you trade irresponsibly, you're going to wreck yourself. The second prediction is, I think order book DEXs will overtake AMMs, and Uniswap over time will slowly die. It's great. I like Uniswap. They're nice people. But over time, I think it will die. Third prediction is ZK bridges, which you might not know about at the moment. I'll explain a little bit later. I think they'll overtake or replace or reinvigorate bridging for cross-chain swaps. And I think if you continue, all the billions of dollars are lost, to be honest. Most of it is because of these crappy bridges. So I think they have to die. I want them to die, actually. I hate them. So let's go for the first thing. First off, there's no bull run coming right now. And here's why. This is why. What the hell is this? Okay, now what I actually think is Bitcoin, which is like the leader, right, of our industry. It's the original cryptocurrency. It's facing a very serious problem. So as you know, Bitcoin's primary selling point is that it's a currency which is non-sovereign, no one controls it, and cannot be devalued by anyone, especially a central bank anywhere. However, with interest rates rising, its main enemy, which is the US dollar, is becoming more attractive to hold. And it's actually appreciating in value, which is quite, for a lot of young people, they can't believe this is actually going, because all the story you've heard about the US dollar, it's depreciating, which is the story of why you should buy Bitcoin, right? Because US dollar is going to be worthless in the future. But just keep in mind that this story about devaluation of dollar is because it's being told, again, narrative, is being told by some people. Investors don't actually keep US dollars in the bank account or under their bed. They invest it into assets, into property and commodities. And in the last few years, those have hugely gone up in value. And so this is an indicator on this graph called R star, which is actually a rough guide of how far the risk-free rates are expected to be above inflation on average. So basically, the higher the number, this is the number on the left, the more returns people get from their dollars, because interest rates are high and inflation is low. Now look at the graph. When did Bitcoin come out, by the way? 2009, right? 2009? Look at the graph. The huge dip 2009, it means Bitcoin was something attractive, where dollars were not attractive anymore. We'd be living through this cycle for the last 10 years. And now, where are we? Gone up. It's suddenly gone up in the last few months, literally. So dollar is now very attractive. And things like, say, crypto is not that attractive anymore. Who are the people with the money? Old people, right? People in 40s and 50s and 60s. Do they really truly believe in crypto and Bitcoin the way that, say, people in their 20s do? Not really. So all this talk of institutional money and things like that, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really believe in it right now. I don't think so. Because the money is actually better invested for much lower risk, and you still get a really good return in all these other commodities, and even if you just hold dollars, it's appreciating. So the thing about this is that the higher the, this is a problem for Bitcoin for a couple of reasons. First off, because it means that people are less likely to want to hold Bitcoin if they can get a positive return on their dollars. And it also makes it more difficult for Bitcoin to attract new users. So in addition, the Bitcoin's fee model is not sustainable in the long term, because as the emissions fall with every halving, there's a halving coming up in like spring next year, it means that more and more of the security budget needs to be paid with fees. And right now, fees are negligible pretty much. So either in the future, the Bitcoin has to generate a lot more fees, or it has to be a lot higher in price. So right now they're negligible, the fees are negligible, but the rewards, which is the new Bitcoin, is like $25 million a day, but that's gonna be half in next year. So what's gonna happen? So I've seen actually an estimate that in the long term, that for the fees to replace the block rewards, Bitcoin actually needs to be trading at $750,000 per Bitcoin. So you know there's that guy last year who made, early this year, who made a bet, right? For $1 million, Bitcoin will hit $1 million, or you know, that kind of thing, that guy, I can't remember his name. So these billionaires, these whales have an incentive because they have a lot of Bitcoin. They want Bitcoin to go up for this reason. Maybe they saw this calculation already before me, I don't know. So if Bitcoin is unable to generate enough fees at the high enough price, then it may become unprofitable to mine Bitcoin. And that would lead to the decline in the security of Bitcoin, which makes it vulnerable to attack, which makes it maybe trash. Who knows? It's scary. Okay, so what does that mean for, we're at ETH conference, right? So why am I talking about this? What does it mean for the future of crypto? So basically, we were right about the government printing money, which caused inflation. But it's wrong to immediately translate that to the story that the price of Bitcoin will go up because it's ultrasound money or whatever it is. So it could be that Bitcoin will underperform other assets in the coming years. Or maybe I'm wrong, who knows? So basically, if this R-star number goes up even more, it means Bitcoin is even less attractive. So keep an eye on this number. If it drops down again, maybe Bitcoin is a lot more attractive. So this is like a really interesting graph to look at. So if Bitcoin doesn't, it may succeed in the long term, but just keep in mind, it may not as well. So basically, Bitcoin drives the entire crypto industry. It means it brings in liquidity, it brings in users as an overflow into things like ETH and other ecosystems. So my prediction is basically for 2024, no longer than 2024, just for next year. So I think crypto will be a niche asset class in the short term. And I think it's only really suitable for high-risk speculators who are a little bit crazy and wild like you guys. And most people in the world are not high-risk speculators. Think about your friends and family, man. They don't play with their money. They don't sell a house and buy some crazy meme coin. They don't do this shit. This is weird. So people who say also that technology is the answer, like L2 rollups or account abstraction, or it's gonna bring on like 100 million people into crypto, they're nerds because they're looking at this from the technology angle and not the human angle, or even the macro picture. So there is actually a way that ETC can flip BTC and get out of the, isolate yourself from Bitcoin. And that's by Ethereum builders building, like, remember what I said at the beginning? Building products with real world usage. So this year is a year of infrastructure. I'm really impressed by what people have built in the infrastructure level, but at the application level, I don't really see much innovation yet. And if someone is building something right now, it's going to take a year for adoption. So I still don't believe the bull run is here. That's my opinion. Probably I might be lying. Who knows? Don't believe me. All right, now my next prediction, by the way, what time is it? How much time have I used up already? It's at the end of my talk, that's it. How much more, how much more? I'm really bad at timekeeping. Okay, just send me an email. Keep going. Yeah, this is good stuff, right? Okay, the second thing is order books. I think most people, you probably use Uniswap and other AMMs. So order books, I think, will overtake AMMs in 2024. So do you guys know exactly what an order book is? Basically, AMM is like, let's say you sell bananas and you sell pears and you sell apples. So AMM means you go to the market square and you put all your apples into a big pile. All the traders come and put their apples and bananas into these different piles, and then the customers come and buy from that pile. And the price, depending on how many bananas and apples there are compared to each other, the price can go up and down. So that's what a AMM is. It's a little bit of a weird concept. Imagine doing that for real life. It will be a little bit weird. The normal way is that if you are selling something, then you want to do a trade with someone, and you kind of like, either he gives you an offer or you give him a price, right? That's the normal way that we think about when we're buying and selling something. So that's what an order book is, basically. It means like when I have, say, one apple and he has two bananas, he would say, no, I'll give you like less or more or whatever. We do a negotiation. So order book is basically people are throwing in like offers, and people are trying to take offers as well. It's called makers and takers. So that's what this order book is, basically. That's the natural way that we think as humans of how to trade. So a CEX, on the other hand, is kind of like, you want to make a trade, like, hey, I want to buy some bananas. They're like, okay, give us 2 pairs. So you give them 2 pairs, and they're like, oh, we got you a banana, don't worry. And you're like, wait, you got my banana and my pairs? And like, yeah, we got it. So like, in CEX, that's the thing about self-custody. You don't actually own anything. They own everything, actually. So again, CEX is a not natural way to trade. If you imagine going to a supermarket and giving them money and not taking home your shopping, that's what a CEX is. It's weird. So like, again, order books is like the most natural way that we think about of how to trade. It's normal. Now, what's the good things about AMMs, like Uniswap, for example? First off, it's naturally decentralizing by default because it's permissionless. Anyone can open up like a pool and like of bananas or apples or whatever and start trading. And maybe encourage my friends to put in money as well. So you can spring up a liquidity pool, and it creates a medium for exchange of value immediately without needing permission from anyone, which is beautiful. It's a really nice concept. So you can potentially tokenize anything. The bad thing is that actually you need to supply liquidity first before you can trade. And that's weird because maybe you don't want to put everything into your pile. Maybe you just want to do a little bit. You want to keep most of it. But with this, it means you put everything into a pile. And the bad thing about that is it creates a honeypot for other people to attack and steal your pile of bananas, which is out in the open. So it's kind of like a little bit scary, and it happens all the time. The LP, like AMMs get drained a lot. So that's a bad thing. Another bad thing is there's something called impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is basically when the price of my bananas goes up or down, there's a moment of inefficiency when, say, other piles of bananas maybe trading higher or lower. So the people who want to, like, traders, they can like buy and sell between the bananas, and I'm kind of losing out a little bit in the meantime. It's called impermanent loss. It's kind of a guarantee with AMM that if you have volatile pricing, there's inefficiency there essentially, and you as a seller will lose out. And if I suddenly like get panicked and I pull out my bananas, I lost money actually, as opposed to on order book. So another problem is that you can't algorithmically trade on an AMM. That's bad. So I actually think in the future, because of this problem with the price volatility and efficiency, in the future AMMs will be like just on stablecoins, like swaps USDC for USDT or whatever. Maybe that's what Uniswap would be in the future. AMMs will be around, but order books will take over. And the reason is that with order books, it requires a lot less liquidity to actually trade on an order book. It's much better for liquidity providers. And bartering is the natural way of how we want to trade as well. Even it's the traditional way that's been done for like 100, 200 years. And the killer feature is that when essentially you trade first on an order book and then you supply liquidity. So it's like you don't have to like throw out all your liquidity out. You say, I want to buy this. Can I buy it? And like, yeah, sure. Okay, now we exchange the money. right? That's a normal way. So essentially, liquidity follows the trade. So especially when you throw in a limit order, then essentially you're kind of supplying liquidity, but you don't actually do it until the trade actually gets complete. So why do I think that all these new order book DEXs will actually dominate? Quite simply, they were too expensive before, and we couldn't implement all the features of a real order book in a decentralized fashion, which is why 90% of all order books, all trading is done, 95%, maybe more, is done on CEX. Because CEX is fast, it's cheap, and simple to use. And building an order book on-chain before was really, really difficult, and it couldn't be done, basically. So now it can. Why? Because the tech is ready. Remember, I mentioned 2023 is a year of infrastructure. So all these like cool L2 rollups, all this innovation means gas fees are a lot lower, it's a lot faster. ZK rollups means that finality is really quick. So you can start thinking, what can I build with this tech? Order book, man. Build an order book, a really good one. And plus, also, the next point was actually about the multi-chain thing, that if you have your money sitting there and you want to buy another token on another network, right now bridging was a big problem. With ZK again, you have interoperability. It takes away all the complexity, all the problems of previous order book models, and now we can build really, really good order books. So I think as long as the UI is really good, I think it will take over. That's my prediction. Right, my third prediction. How much time do I have, sir? I need at least 25 minutes. Is that okay?
I can't give you 25 minutes. Just about 5 minutes, you can slowly wrap up. Yep.
Yeah, I'll do a quick summary. This is the most boring part. But actually, there's two kinds of bridges in the world, all right? So here's the thing with bridging. You use a bridge to take your assets from one network and put it into another, right? That's what you do. Okay, I got like some ETH. I got to move it from ETH mainnet to Arbitrum. Why? Because I want to do something, some whatever it is. Okay, so you do this bridging thing. So a lot of people, most bridging happens on CEXs. They do this. Like, you know Tron? Like this weird freaking network called Tron. It's huge because they do bridging from CEX to CEX. I don't know why. Like USDT on Tron is like number 2. It's like a huge volume. Like very profitable protocol. I don't know why. But it is. Everyone uses Tron. Anyways, there's two kinds of bridging. The first one is a trusted bridge. So this is a CX in the bottom left. Basically, you trust the middle guy. So equivalent analogy is, let's say I got to send a package. I got to send my phone to my friend at the other side of town, and I'm going to sell it to him, and he's going to send. No, it's not my friend. Some random guy, for $100. Right. But then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll send it, right? So I send it there. I'm like, I hope the money comes through. Like, I'm waiting. Is the money coming through? Like, I don't know. Like, it's scary, right? So what do? You have a trusted intermediary, like the delivery guy, right? He won't give him the phone until he got the money back. You got to trust the delivery guy is a real guy. Is gonna come through. What if he disappears, right? Like a typical CX. That's what essentially trusted. This architecture here is basically like an exchange. So the okay, good. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, good. Okay, so basically we're saying that both sides of the network need to trust the middle party in this case. So the other case is that this is the obvious limitations here. But when you have essentially you have two other kinds of bridges. One is the optimistic bridge, and one is the external validator set bridge on the right-hand side. So on the one on the right-hand side is very similar to the one on the left-hand side, but the only difference is you have like a committee of people who approve something. So one person cannot be trusted, but maybe a group of them can. But again, this is often also exploited to the tune of billions of dollars. It's like a multi-sig. Essentially, if you can steal the multi-sig, you can like approve transactions that don't exist and things like that. And then you have a third type, which is optimistic bridges. This is similar to optimistic rollups, but essentially it relies on forward window to resolve any dispute about the validity of actually what happened. And the key thing here is you basically want to find out with any of these bridges, whether it's trusted or trustless, what is the situation happening over there? Like, I want to know, like, does he actually have $100? My $100? Is he actually going to send it to me? And he's wondering the same thing about me. What if I send him a brick? You know, like, is he actually going to send a phone? This is in the cross-chain and multi-chain world. This is the biggest problem in the world. Like, what's happening on the other network? I have no idea. So this is what we call the protocol, the middle thing in the middle, whatever it is, has to coordinate this change of state across the different networks. Like, what it is, what's moving, how much it is, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And it's a big deal because if you mess it up, you can like ruin so many different things. The other model, which I think you'll start using quite soon, is essentially a trustless bridge. So the most secure is called a state validating bridge. This is basically in almost in real time, say network A, network B receives the state from network A, validates it, and independently, doesn't need anyone else whatsoever. It checks that the other network is valid and it's sticking to the rule of the transaction. It's very, very secure. You don't need anyone else to check. I can jump over to the other side of the world and like check. You got the money? Good. I'm gonna jump back. It's like magic like that basically. But the problem here is that the other kind of situation of actually implementing this is that it's too expensive because people have tried to build this, and the solution they came up with was this one, consensus verifying, and this is actually valid on Cosmos. So IBC protocol, which you may have heard of, is on Cosmos, and because Cosmos is a very cheap gas fee, you can run this kind of thing. This is where you run it's called a light node. When you run a client, it's like I got a friend sitting with the other guy on the other side of town, and I was like, dude, did the guy have the $100? He's like, yeah, he had got $100. I'm like, oh, cool, thank you. Okay, I'll send the phone then. It's like that. And the other guy got his friend here with me. It was like, does it have the phone? Yeah, he has the phone. Okay, then we both know we're talking to our friends on the other side, so we know it's so good. That's the analogy of what IBC and consensus verifying is. The thing is, again, even this you can't build on Ethereum. It's too expensive because Ethereum is not only very, very high gas fee, but also has a very large validator set, and also the public key stake distribution is very burdensome. It's a pain in the butt. So what's the solution? ZK Bridge. And why ZK? Because ZK proofs are very small. This is the beautiful thing about ZK. And any technology where it makes something smaller is always going to lead to innovation. So ZK Bridge basically has the same idea of having a buddy on the other network, and I can call him, but it's a very small and cheap, essentially, gas fee. So it makes it, instead of being very expensive in terms of computation, after you've made it proof, the proof is tiny, and it's guaranteed as well, unbreakable at the moment as well. So both the networks can talk to each other, as long as you can create and validate the proof on each one. So not every single network supports this method, but more are. So for example, Solana, ZKX tried to build one on Solana. We couldn't do it. It wouldn't work technically. So like, okay, we skipped it and we waited. So that's me. Yeah, I didn't show anything about myself. No one knows what ZKX is, right? Can I have like?
You can give a few sentences to describe ZKX.
Okay, we're crazy, right? We have this crazy wild idea to build a decentralized self-custodial version of a CEX. Basically, something with even better UX, even better security, completely like very powerful functionality. And it's so good that you don't need to use a CEX anymore. So that's our challenge. And we're gonna go live in about 2 months' time, roughly. So we've been building on stealth for the last like 1 year. And now we're like kind of confident. We kind of can't believe we actually did it. And we're a little bit scared right now as well as to what's gonna happen. So anyways, we're very excited. So zkx.com, take a look. And about 2 months, you'll hear a lot of noise about us, hopefully. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Excellent presentation. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Balal. We really appreciate it. And definitely go and check out his project coming up soon in 2 months' time, ZKEX.